remember, some people remember that it's from the bygone order when there were a lot of sculptures. But then they had to undergo a political destruction of sculptures, like a systematic destruction. We understand that it's monuments, and that one luckily somehow survived. Maybe because it was. Yes, exactly. So so why I made this film? It's very recent. It was written, in the turmoil of the Polish, political changes, and I wrote it. It's in Chinese. It's done in Taiwan, but it's extremely Polish. And I thought I'm just hiding my Polish stories in the for us Europeans in the very fairy tale-like environment, which I'm using as a stage here. But I work with actors and my non-actors in such a way that I explain them the story, and I want to hear what they think. And they turned my story into a completely Taiwanese story. We've been talking about Erba, we've been talking about Cultural Revolution, we've been talking about relations with China, and I understood how thoroughly Taiwanese my story is. And then we shot it, and then I finished it, and I showed it in Poland, and I went to show it in Japan. And again, the Japanese people watched my 78 minutes film, and then they were speaking about this film being about relations with Korea, and about relations with China, and about the different unspoken, because the film is basically about the unspoken in the society, what we know of, and what we need to discuss, but what we never discuss because we're afraid to speak about it. So, I'm speaking so much, but I just wanted to tell you that I think that certain issues are just very universal. If we just speak about power, if we don't mention, and if we just speak about the violence of power, and if we speak about undiscussed things, I think that they can fit to every community, whether it's a nation, family, or inhabitants of a certain city. I think everywhere we've got the same issues, all one university.
Can you show us the trailer of this film?
Yes, I can.
Because most people here can
Yes, I actually have that in the hands. Could you be so kind and turn the light off for me, please? Thank you, sorry. Or maybe I have the... Okay, nearly 3 minutes.
你们有注意广场前面那棵树吗？
你问那棵树做什么？
我不知道，因为他今天好像在对我说话。
妈的！
怎么了？
他在那里呀、
不好意思，我来是为了树宠的事。我不喜欢他唱的歌。
Proszę pana! Proszę pana, jak pan przebiegł przez ten płot? So yes, the Ministry of Culture sponsored this. This is also, I think maybe I should add that this work is, I'm not sure if I should because maybe it's too much now. But yeah, it's about hatred. It's about growing. I'm speaking about growing hatred in the film, and also I'm structuring it so that we see more and more anger, and then we see this lady who we haven't seen now in the trailer, who is a leader, who's using the hatred and the anger of the community in order to lead them in new directions. And then the dancing, the very poetic dancing, was a quote from, which is much longer in the film, from Leni Riefenstahl. Films which are very poetic, you know, and which use this this poetic tool to as a propaganda. Yeah. And also there's a small performative aspect that is a little bit of a film that was done, it's a called New Chapter, but it's done in Poland and it's myself, it's like I'm performing to camera because I wanted to also address the Polish growing hatred, which also is a tool for the people in power to used in order to take control of the society. And I thought, if I'm addressing these very serious Polish issues and I'm kind of doing this work, growing very desperate about my position as an artist and my belief, desperate and lost in the situation in which I am strongly believing in my artistic tool, and I am thinking that I can use it to have an impact on the world, however pathetic it sounds, but then seeing more and more how, as the instrument for making noise, how silent it is and how unsuccessful I am with speaking the way I speak, I thought I'm going to make this performance, which is very naive and silly, but also it's just very human, I think, in which I'm speaking about how everything I do doesn't give the effect that I wish it would give.
I would like to ask about the soup and that's English-speaking video. I wonder, where were they shown? Were they shown in a, let's say, a gallery space or in a cinema or film festival? Because why I ask this question is I'm reflecting upon my experience of watching video piece of artwork. My experience is often when they were shown in a gallery space and somehow the effect somehow it may not be too good because let's say where walk is in the middle of the video and I so that okay I just leave and okay want to go back again, okay gosh I miss it again and again and again, so I wonder where were they show at first?
I know what you mean, but I disagree, and I think that this is a problem that we often have, that even curators, but very often viewers would say, oh, this video is too long, and I cannot be so long in the gallery, or I will not come in the beginning, I will maybe come in the middle. Or I've got to go, and I cannot sit for 72 minutes. So I think, so I totally understand what you mean, because I've heard it many times. But yes, my works are mostly shown in galleries and museums, sometimes in cinemas. And the soup, not black and white, but the first film you're asking about, it was originally shown in the film theater when it premiered. But it was, if I could choose, I would show it in gallery conditions. Because I much more prefer the situation of freedom, and I take the responsibility for you. I take the responsibility of you not coming in time for the beginning, of you having to leave, but also I'm giving you space to see it twice or 3 times if you want. You know. I think that my films are this. The structure is chaotic enough that if you, maybe I'm risking a little here saying this, but if you put my scenes in the shaker and then put them in a different order, I guess maybe you would get the same story. Because anyway, the sequence I'm giving you is anyway the sequence that you filter through all the thoughts you've got, all your context and so on. So, and I much more like the bodily feeling, the relations with other viewers, the discomfort of gallery watching, rather than cinema, which is a very structured watching, which is a certain, as you know from my former talk, I love cinema. Yeah. I think cinema is great. I build cinemas. I love making cinemas. I'm interested in cinemas, and cinema as a building, as a habit, is what I'm working with also on the side of this. But actually, going into cinema in order to watch a film as a filmmaker, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with, because I'm thinking it's framing too much of you, you know. So you've got to come in a certain time, you've got to sit through it, and then you've got to go home when it's finished. It's annoying me.
Yeah, when Karolina's film, The Square, was shown in a gallery in Thailand, and what happened was that the people, non-professional actors, were actually local residents in Thailand. They just came to the gallery to interact with one another. They were free to sit down on some chairs.
Yeah.
They could lie down on the floor and walk away whenever they wanted to. So that was actually quite a different way of thinking about the space of the gallery.
Yes. Yes. So Square is that was partly what I wanted to do, because in Thailand I was just showing a part of the film because the entire wasn't finished. But yes, this was already like announcing how I'm going to show it. But maybe this is interesting for you. I also think that gallery watching, you know, is much more of an experience than just you and the art and the video and the film work. It's also space. So Square is not a 1-channel film, it's a 9-channel installation. I do show it in form of 1-channel too. But I want to show it, and this is how I showed it, how it premiered, and also this is how I showed it in Japan now. It only had 2 screenings so far. So this is the this is a space. You know, I covered the entire museum with this cheesy red carpet and loads of pillows, and I use these transparent screens so that you can see it from different sides. And it was also a sound piece in the sense that when the sculptures was singing in different, because different bits of films were on separate screens, and they were all simultaneously happening, right? Shown. So when the sculpture was singing here, for example, and another sculpture was singing here, the same sculpture but from different bits of the story, they were singing in the choir. So at first,
which gallery in Tainan?
no, this is the Sculpture Museum in Warsaw. What you see here, but in Tainan I was showing in Haimahui.
But I think because the Haimahui is the location and the situation is not really an ordinary gallery space, because it's much more like the walk-up apartment of the like an apartment building. So I think that kind of setting will be that will create that situation of the residents going there to Japan.
So when her work is displayed in Mocha, we can go check out again and see if he actually has a different meaning.
You have question, comment, introductions?
Yeah.
Just share with some of your thoughts.